For a professional driver, inspecting his heavy vehicle before hitting the road is one of the most important tasks. It is for his safety and safeties of other road users. The procedure requires you to adapt to the type of vehicle and its components. While no method is mandatory, the purpose of this video is to introduce the various components to check within the circle check and to also understand the defects. The order in which the verification is performed can be changed according to certain restrictions. Note that in this video, we will only mention the components prescribed by the regulation and describing the procedure. Approaching the vehicle, inspect its general condition to detect clues of defects such as the subsistence of the vehicle, non-parallel wheels, axle displacement, traces of liquid on the ground. While going inside the cabin to put the low beams and parking lights on, check whether the driver's side door opens and closes properly. You'll have to check whether all cab doors are completely engaged when they are closed. Make sure the parking brakes are engaged and the high beams are not lit for this check. Inspect the left and right low beams. Still in front of the vehicle, check the parking lights and the right turn signal. In both cases, inspect the parking lights and turn signals at the front and the rear of the vehicle. At the front of the vehicle, check the fixed components of the body, mirrors installed at the front, in the engine compartment, check the fluid level in the power steering pump reservoir. This check can be done with a gauge or markers on the reservoir. Check also the side rails, the suspension. Check the condition of the blades, their position, as well as their brackets. Tires and valves. Look at the depth of the groove of the thread. This should be checked on all of its visible. Look at the general condition of the tires and note if there's any presence of wear, damage, foreign material, or bulge. Still on the front axle, check the condition of the wheels and their fasteners. Check the lubricant level through the side glass in the wheel hub that are so equipped. Check for any traces of oil, grease on the wheels, or on the ground under the wheel hubs. Important: oil or grease leakage from the wheel hub indicates that the wheel bearings may not be sufficiently lubricated. Not enough oil or grease may cause the wheel to come off the vehicle. On the left side of the tractor, check the fixed components of the body, the mounting of all mirrors, and make sure they do not present any sharp edges. Continuing the left side of the truck, check the presence of emergency equipment. Make sure you have at least 3 red emergency lamps, reflectors, or 3 fluorescent triangles. For all types of fuel tanks, you must inspect the tank fasteners, the presence of a filler cap, as well as the visible parts of the fuel system to identify potential leaks. Such leaks can be detected by the presence of fuel on the ground. Make sure the side rails flanges, webs, or cross members have no breaks or cracks. Make sure there's no side rails or cross members, sags, and makes moving parts come into contact with the body. The coupling device. On both sides of the vehicle facing the fifth wheel, inspect the mounting angles and check for the presence of condition of the nuts and bolts that fasten the fifth wheel to the vehicle frame. Check for the presence of the locking pin and make sure they are in lock position. Inspect the visible parts of the fifth wheel components, such as the lower coupling plate, support, jaws, and the mounting angles. For the hook and the ring fasteners, inspect the elements that set the hook and the ring on the vehicles. A missing or inoperative pintle hook locking mechanism is a major defect, as there's a risk of separation and combination of vehicles. Between the tractor equipped with a hook and a trailer, inspect the safety fasteners and coupling components. Inspect the visible parts of the upper coupling plate and the kingpin. make sure they are not deformed so as to affect the coupling, cracked, or badly fixed. Inspect the suspension. Look at the U-bolt. Make sure the suspension is supplied with air, the air springs is properly inflated and in good condition. The level of the vehicle. Listen for suspension's air leaks. Inspect the tires and valves. Check whether one of the dual tires is flat. It is recommended to strike it with a hammer. Inspect the general condition of the tire, such as wear, damage, presence of foreign material, deformation, or bulge related to a carcass defect. Check the condition of the tire valves. Check wheels and their fastening parts. In the case of traction axles, make sure there are still no oil leaks. At the back of the tractor, check the jaws fifth wheel couplings. For all fifth wheel coupling models, make sure to check if the mechanism is locked properly. Check also the visible parts of the coupling plates and the kingpin. The tractor truck's parking light. The tractor truck's left and right turn signal lights. From here, you can also inspect the parts that were previously hard to see, such as suspension, side rails, cross members, the exhaust system, and tires. In addition, if you look behind, you can see the trailer's cross members. On the trailer left side, from front to back, check the fixed components of the body, the semi-trailer's side rails and cross members. For a van trailer, look at the upper and lower side rails. For a truck, the side rails is located under the bearing body. Towards the wheels of the trailer, inspect the side rails and the pin of the sliding tandem. Outside the vehicle, on both sides of the semi-trailer's wheel, make sure the locking pins are present and in their locked position. Check also the suspension, tires and valves, the wheels as well as their fixing parts, the hub wheel lubricant level, or sign of liquid leaks. At the rear of the trailer, check parking lights, the right and left turn signal, license plate light, the side rails and cross members, the suspension. For the right side of the truck and the trailer, perform the same check. Inside the cabin, adjust the driver's seat, general condition of the seat, and make sure it stays in the set position. Then check the presence, conditions, and operation of the seat belt. Make sure that the mirrors are present and in good condition. Inspect the windshield and make sure its condition does not hamper the driver's vision of the road. Inspect the side windows on each side of and directly behind the driver's compartment to make sure their condition does not hamper visibility. Check the effectiveness of the wiper blades and make sure the windshield washer system sprays washer fluid onto the windshield. Turn on the blower and check if there's air blowing towards the windshield. Check the steering wheel and the steering column. Try to move the steering wheel in all directions. If the steering wheel's position is adjustable, make sure it remains in set position. If the vehicle is equipped with 2 horns, the driver is required to check at least one of them. Start the engine and release the parking brake. Check low air pressure alarm. If the low pressure alarm is not already in function, pump the brake pedal while watching the pressure gauge to check when the low pressure sound, light, and visual warning are activated. They must activate before the air pressure is less than 55 pounds per square inch. If low pressure alarm is running when you start the vehicle, continue to check the pressure gauge to make sure the warning devices are working until the pressure in the system reaches at least 55 pounds per square inch. Then check the performance of the compressor. While the engine is idling and air compressor is on, depress the brake pedal and hold it. Watch the gauge and make sure the compressor allows to reach and maintain at least 90 pounds per square inch. While the air compressor is still in operation, let the engine run and make sure the compressor switches off when the air pressure is between 117 and 137 pounds per square inch. At this stage, it is possible to run the engine slightly faster in order to raise the pressure quicker. Check the pressure regulator stop of the compressor. Stop the engine and check for air leaks and braking pressure. Press on the brake pedal and keep it depressed while checking for air leaks, visible on the pressure gauge or audible. Restart the engine and check the pressure regulator starting of the compressor. By monitoring the pressure gauge, slowly lower the air pressure so that the compressor will restart. Make sure it does before reaching 80 pounds per square inch. Proceeding with the following checks. The accelerator. Depress the accelerator, then release it to make sure the engine returns to idle. Try to gently move the vehicle by engaging the transmission to the highest speed that allows to move. In case of a manual transmission, for example the third gear. Make sure the parking brakes holds the vehicle. If you have a combination of vehicles, verification should be made on each equipment. Release the parking brake. Check the power steering. Drive forward slowly and turn the steering wheel to one side then the other to make sure the wheels are turning freely and that the power steering is operating properly. Press at the same time the clutch pedal if there's one and then brake to stop the vehicle. This will allow you to ensure the operation of the service brake as well as the clutch control in case of a manual transmission. Set the transmission in neutral. Apply the parking brakes and check. With the engine running, if you detect an exhaust smell, check whether there's a hole on the floorboard. Check the brake lights of both the tractor truck and the semi-trailer when the safe installation allows you to do so, or with the assistance of a second person. Fill in the security report. Remember that the circle check is a sight and sound inspection of accessible of the vehicle components. You must pay attention to the general condition of the vehicle components, even if they are not part of the circle check defect list. Keep the owner and operator informed of your findings. Have a safe trip.